Mr. Speaker, welcome back to This Week on Capitol Hill.
Hey, Tony, great to be with you from Louisiana's 4th Congressional District. Been working across the district. This is the August district work period, as you know, for members of the House, and it's so good to be home. So glad to be with you.
Before we jump into this issue of Israel, what you spent about, you spent about 12 hours out there yesterday in the district. What did you hear from folks?
Well, we crisscross the district. I've got about a third of the state by land area now, and it's a broad swath of territory, but a great microcosm of the whole country. And I'm telling you, we're sort of on a victory tour right now because of the big, beautiful bill and all the policy promises that we've delivered upon. And it's so well received. People understand. They cut through the noise, the mainstream media and the Democrat Party, who've been, frankly, just out lying about the legislation. They understand now what we've done and why, and they understand it's going to benefit everybody. All boats are going to rise, and we can't wait. That's why we're so bullish about the upcoming election cycle, because we know everybody across the country, across the economy, are going to feel the positive effects of this, and they're going to reward us for it. And it's a fun thing to go out and talk about that, and to hear the testimonials of people across the all these communities who are already beginning to feel the positive effects of the legislation we've achieved, and that's a big thing.
Sometimes it's just good to be outside of D.C.
Yes, it is.
And back with real people talking about real issues. You talk about the media. The media. I'm going to try to be kind here. Lacking the truth in some cases, and we saw that on full display when it came to the issue of Gaza, when they put up a manufactured picture. I mean, it was a picture of a child, but they didn't tell the whole story about the underlying conditions of this child, leading people to believe that everyone in Gaza is starving, when in fact Israel has been doing a tremendous effort to get relief, supported by the United States, into Gaza, above and beyond what militaries normally do when they're in a conflict with an enemy.
That's exactly right. And I was talking with Ambassador Leiter, Israel's ambassador to the U.S., just a couple of days ago, before I went out to do interviews on this, to confront those lies. And it's true. I mean, Israel has done a great benevolent work here. More than 94,000 truckloads full of food they have tried to get into Gaza. It's enough to feed 2 million people for 2 years. The problem is Hamas, the brutal terrorist organization, has been stealing the food and supplies, stealing it. And they profited off that. And so the actual numbers are, that everyone acknowledges, is that Hamas made $500,000 just on the resale or you turning that into commodities of the stolen resources they were trying to get to the people. And this has just been it's a terrible tragedy upon tragedy. So Israel's doing everything they possibly can. They've opened up new routes of humanitarian aid, as you know, and the U.S. is working with our allies and with Israel to try to get as much in there as possible. But they're being impeded by that evil terrorist organization, and that's the facts.
Mr. Speaker, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about Israel. You're going to be traveling there soon. This is something you and I care about passionately. Generally speaking, the anti-voices or the voices against Israel, those that give rise to anti-Semitism, generally come from the left, but we're seeing that from the right. Some of the so-called conservative influencers and voices are articulating and fostering an environment that is anti-Semitic and against the state of Israel.
They are, and we've got to stand against anti-Semitism anytime it rears its ugly head. It's disappointing, discouraging to me to see some voices on the right who tend to be leaning into that, or appear to be. I think there's an education process that a constant reminder that has to be done to let people know why we stand with Israel. It's a matter of faith for many of us, but even that, there's all these geopolitical concerns and very practical, reasonable, policies and principles that we're supporting to stand with Israel, the most stable democracy in that region, which is a tinderbox. Our success is tied in some ways to Israel's success there, because that we have to keep the peace over there. I think we're getting closer to that. I think eradicating Hamas is a big part of this. We've got to get hostages returned. We've got to restore some sense of peace there. And I think Israel's central to all that. So if we're not standing with our close ally there, just from a geopolitical standpoint, it's it jeopardizes freedom for everybody around the world in some sense. And it certainly makes us more threatened by our enemies over there.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we have two reasons to stand. Number one, as evangelical Bible-believing Christians, we know very clearly what the Word of God says. But as you mentioned, geopolitical, are you confident that the United States, under the current administration and current Congress, are standing solidly with Israel?
Look, the vast majority of members of Congress are, and it's even bipartisan. I mean, there's many Democrats who personally are committed to that. There is a rising amount of anti-Semitism throughout the culture in America and across the globe. Of course, we see that being played out, and that's going to bleed over into elected officials and in Congress as well. But I think at the end of the day, good is going to triumph over evil. This is going to be civilization over barbarism, as Prime Minister Netanyahu likes to say, and the good will prevail in the end. But America is going to stand with Israel. We have to. I think the president is resolved to do that. He's trying to do everything he can to forge the peace over there and bring the conflict to an end. And that's America's role here. And we have to do that. Not boots on the ground, not interventionism, but trying to broker the peace. That we're really the force that can help make that happen, and we have to do it.
Mr. Speaker, about 45 seconds left. Domestic issues. We see redistricting taking place in Texas. Now California saying they want to do that. This would affect the midterm elections. Your thoughts?
Well, it's the purview of the states. It's their prerogative. I don't have any control over that. But I've said this repeatedly. I'll say it again. Whatever the district lines wind up being, we're going to win because we're going to win on our policies and what we've delivered for the people. So I am very bullish about the midterm elections. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right, Mr. Speaker, thanks so much for taking time to join us this week. Enjoy the time in the district and outside of D.C.
Thanks, my friend. Good to see you.
All right, House Speaker Mike Johnson. All right, don't go away because on the other side of the break, I have some final thoughts on this week on Capitol Hill that I want to leave you with. So don't go away. More coming up.